how you make sure that your measurement gets used. And I think you answered a lot of the question already. Would you like to say any more to that?
Um,
I remember from our
for
days
one,
working together
we,
that,
pardon,
sorry, I remember from our days working together that sometimes we'd set up measurement or a report and it would not get used, almost like if they only wanted to check the box.
yep. For one, it kind of goes back to the not just a why, but making sure they're accountable for making the change that's gonna, whatever it might be, whatever the outcome is of that why. It can be several things. Um, I feel that Angie, our director of operations and project manager, or a project manager in any capacity, we keep our clients basically accountable for that. That becomes a task for us when they say, "Oh yeah, we need to change the logos on the landing page." Let's just say, right? Um, or change back to the other version because we noticed that the new one's not doing well. That's kind of an easy task, but anyway, that's a task on our end. And yes, it's saying, client task. But in every meeting, we're going to bring this up. Did you do this? Did you do this? Where are we at on this? Where are we at on that? Um, you know, Perfect example, we ran a test on an age gate. We ran an age gate test for a client. They have to make sure that people are 21, et cetera. But they're asking really, just asking in a really, really weird way and needing way too much information. So we changed it to the, are you 21 or over kind of deal. Lobbies saw a massive increase in conversions. In fact, they about $50,000 savings in media spend because people were not going through the age gate. It was like, how many spins on the earth have you completed? It just was weird. But anyway, so then the test went out. Now we implemented that test using Google experimentation tool. It's been a while. So what was it called? Google Optimize. We,
Optimize.
we, we were using Google Optimize. Well, Google Optimize went away. And and their developers had still not made that change. And sure enough, we're like, you got to make that change. And who knows how long it would have gone on until we were like, here's the priority for this to happen. And it kind of actually got way up to the CMO, and our lead kind of got busted on it. But we didn't get busted. They got busted. Right. And so, yeah, it's continuing to hold the client accountable, not forgetting that, not saying, oh, our role is just to report it and do the analysis. No, our role is to make sure that you make the change too, because we don't get any credit if you don't make the change either.
Yeah. Yeah, that also makes me think of education, which that's one of the issues that the two sides, the content SEO and marketing operations or the analytics team, or it could be the CMO, that they don't know enough about each other's work. And when you're in the agency, oftentimes you get hired because you know a lot more about their work. Maybe other times you get hired because they need to crank out something big and they don't have the resources. But many times you get hired because you're better at something than they are. So if they need to if they are to appreciate your work and pay for it, they also need to understand it. And he showed me one example with that diagram, and he mentioned some other examples of how you educate clients. How big of a chunk of your work would you say that is when delivering the work? Where instead of thinking about it like you just do this and you send it off or you present it, but how much do you think, or how big of a chunk of your work or your account director's work is it to also educate the client on what can be done, what's been done?
If I had my way, it would be 50-50. I don't always get my way. And that's why it became like a mantra, because my team is actually not doing a great job of showing, not telling, right? And so I've been working with our director of operations. I'm like, done isn't done until you show, you got a one slider or something like that. Like I need, that's done. I don't care if you've done the task or whatever. I gotta understand the value, et cetera. Because education to the client is number one. That's the most important thing. If they don't understand what you're doing, why even be doing it, right? I mean, and I'm not talking about the details, right? But if they don't understand the whys, then et cetera. So yeah, I mean, I would say education or communication, maybe. Maybe it's not education, but the way you show the analysis, the way you provide that presentation, the way you give your monthly reviews or whatever, um, is definitely the most important. How much time you spend, as much time as it takes.
Mm.
I bet sometimes that takes longer. It takes longer to come up with a story than the actual analysis and, coming up with it. But that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. And just one more question. And thank you for the gems, Thomas. Also, just it's just super nice for me to hear about your work after a while.
It's
Uh,
fun to talk about
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fun to
it.
listen to. So, distribution. I talk a lot about how important distribution is. In my process, whether I'm the individual contributor, whether I'm the author of something big, or I'm
Can you define
going.
distribution? What do you mean by distribution? Sorry.
So let's say you create content, or you structure your website, you take care of the SEO part, the schema markup, but then instead of relying on just the organic traffic, you also distribute it through other channels, such
Yeah.
as slicing it up into social media posts or combining Google SEO, like Google targeted SEO with YouTube, that kind of a search approach, or an email newsletter, anything else. It could be about sending stuff out to through your CRM when it's relevant as a part of customer support. Um,
Thank you.
in your experience and in your work, how well do you believe distribution, content distribution can be measured today? What's doable? What's realistic as an expectation? It can be a broad answer. That's fine.
Good question. Good question. The obvious answer is basically through your source data, right? But that's only telling you when it works. It's not going to tell you when it doesn't work. If you got content out there in the ether and no one's clicking through from it, you don't know about it most of the time. Am I kind of assuming? It's good. I'll be honest, I probably haven't done too much from a measurement side on distribution as you're defining it to have as smart of an answer as the last couple. Um, but because yeah, I'm still. I mean, I get the role of okay, I've got this great content now. I'm not going to put it all on just my website. I want to make sure that all these other high ranked domains are getting this as well. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't
So
know
that's
what
in the works.
I don't necessarily know what tools necessarily they use on that side. I just know the tools that we use to content measurement or to measure content on the digital side, or the
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking how much of the measurement of the website, where the content mainly lives, how much of that can be representative of the other channels? Because the 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 other
Ah,
platforms like YouTube or LinkedIn, they like to keep the click, right? They like to keep the user on their platform.
yeah,
And I'm thinking about B2B, so I'm saying YouTube and LinkedIn, but it could be Instagram, and then of course email. Everybody, email less, so, but all the social platforms prefer to keep the click. Even Google these days prefers to keep the click. But then you are getting the brand awareness, and it is affecting your results elsewhere. Even your pay-per-click campaigns improve if you're
yeah.
getting brand awareness. Even your recognition by the AI tools improves if you're getting brand out of showing up. Um, so I'm sure there are good ways of making your measurement of stuff that happens on the website because the website is the hub of everything. I'm sure it can be representative. And I'm thinking out loud, and it's a question to you if it may be that um, how to make sure it's as representative as possible of everything that's happening off the website as well.
Yeah. I mean, you overlay your social media data, right? So you're showing me likes, impressions, comments. The only metric that I really kind of guide with is comments. And you can have as many likes as you want, but nobody's commenting on your content, and it's not resonating all that well. Um, But even still, now you're getting into like attribution of okay, how much did this LinkedIn post contribute versus this banner versus then the click that we have from the paid media search. If we didn't have those two on there, would I have ever got the click on the pay per click or would I have ever got the pay per click? The question that's always asked, right? Um, and I think it will always be asked because I just don't. For one, that data is getting more and more valuable. So Facebook doesn't want to share that to Google, doesn't want to share that to everyone else, which leads us to systems like Campaign Manager and DV360, from Google's standpoint, which kind of gives you that, like it will show view through information and click through information, or primarily, view through is the valuable part about that. But I really question the accuracy, and I really question the actionability of that. Kind of got in a big fight actually with the client because they are very, very much performance based. So any marketing has to come right back to the dollar. As you just said, Facebook's when it comes from the website, very, very little. And then they're looking at their view through conversions and they're doing really well. Well, he can't tell his boss we got X amount of view through conversions. He can always, only say, et cetera. Now, then we also tried lead forms. That got a little bit better because then we could actually attribute it much better because they had to enter in their phone number. Well, we got the phone number later on, great, and that kind of worked. Unfortunately, the ROAS wasn't where they like it. They like a 12 to 13 ROAS, and it just wasn't there. But still, it was an attribution issue. Oh, the argument was, well, why am I not getting all the information from the view throughs? How come they'll give me the information on a click through but not a view through as far as matching up by a user? I'm like, because that's their moneymaker. Facebook's not going to send you a user list of who's using Facebook. And when you look at how many view throughs you have versus actual conversions, it's massive. It's a major difference. And no, Facebook's not going to say this person logged into our system and saw your ad but didn't do anything about it. They're not. Sorry, you're not going to get it.
Mm.
And well, then how do they know? Then so they don't know. I was like, no, of course they know. They have their user login information. They know which user logged in. If they really wanted to do it, like there's no one sitting up there saying, oh, Branko is looking at this ad. But of course they know. But they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's got to be a way. I'm like, there's not. And
So
he
what
doesn't
about,
like to hear no. He doesn't like to hear no. But eventually we're just like, there's not.
yeah, yeah, sometimes you need to accept that. What about incrementality testing? How popular is that these days in your experience?
In my experience, we've not really done it too terribly much, but yeah, we just haven't really gotten there yet. And also a lot of the times, since we're not a marketing agency, we are a data agency, and we're evaluating those results or evaluating validity of that more than we are actually performing analysis and things like that. Or they already have their paid media person that's looking at incrementality, frequency, all that kind of thing. We don't really get in the middle of it.
Okay, okay, um,
Makes me
cool.
miss being more on the marketing side sometimes, or a marketing agency side, but I like to be the teller of the truth, not the
Uh,
marketer.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Now the final question, Thomas. Scaling is a huge topic in content as well as in SEO, but in SEO it's usually easier. Content production can be hard, but I also find that some systems can be hard to scale if you don't do it right. So when it comes to scaling for growing companies who wanna grow a content program big time, um, what did you say companies need to do when they want to scale fast compared to those who are more of a lifestyle business or who are happy where they are? Like if you want to be set up for growth, me as the content director, I can tell you about the things I would set up in a team in terms of the structure, SOPs and such, so that the content can grow without losing quality. What are some of the things you like to set up for measurement so that things can grow without losing quality of your measurement, like accuracy or usefulness of the measurement?
Yeah. Well, I think that's where it's always important to understand your KPIs and consistently evaluate on those KPIs. And KPI is not volume, right? A lot of content SEO folks really like quantity. One of our clients is getting tons and tons and tons of traffic on their top cybersecurity issues. Tons of traffic. In fact, just as much traffic as almost the rest of all of their other content. One person has purchased off of that page, or where that's coming in as the landing page. One, so it's and so it's constantly keeping in mind those KPIs. So from a measurement standpoint, that way you can as far as like accuracy and things like that. Well, that's using humans. If if I were wanting to scale, and we kind of are, a content strategy, I would probably hire an AI prompt engineer, because the only way I'm going to win at scale on that point with that technology out there is to use that technology, but use it damn well. I hate, and I can find AI written material. So, I think you still have to put a good 50% into it yourself to let AI generate good thought leadership content. But I'd say you almost have to do that in order to scale nowadays, because everyone else is. That's your competition. So, yeah, do it.
And do you enjoy AI comments on LinkedIn? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Well, Thomas, thank you very, very
So
much.
just because they're that funny, but
Thank you very, very much. I noticed I messed it up a bit with how my camera settings changed. I wasn't aware. I couldn't see the little window. Um, but you're in focus anyway, and I'm super grateful for this. Uh,
have
I
fun.
think this will be coming out sometime through April. So we'll do a few mentions of you for the course chapter because we're releasing them gradually. Some of the mentions will just be in the marketing ops community, the private community, but it's pretty big. There's several thousand people and it's super engaged. They're doing really well with community building and engagement. Some of it will be on LinkedIn. I think they're also doing Instagram and then email newsletters, of course. Um, and I hope this brings things your way. And if I can return the favor or donate some of my time into something you're working on, just ask, please.
You got it. You got it. This is great. I'm trying to get out and about more in 2025. So far I'm at a good start. I did an AI panel discussion a few weeks ago. And here's something. I got a part in a dinner detective, or like a murder mystery during dinner. I'm a professional actor now too. No,
Oh yeah, you're gonna act.
it's like every other week or something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
How fun is that?
Doesn't doesn't
It's
surprise me.
70% improv and like 30% you go along with the plot. You make sure the plot, and so and so murders so and so and they get caught. But it's, you just gotta have fun through the whole thing.
For some
So
reason, it doesn't surprise me. Haven't you done some acting before?
that was my thing. That was my major. So in college,
Okay,
when I was a theater
okay,
filming, and then
that's what I
Netscape
remember.
Navigator came out, and I was like, I'm gonna make a lot more money on Netscape Navigator than I ever will on stage. So, and I think that's true. This is only paying $80 a show, but it is paying, which means I am a professional actor. So anyway,
Yeah,
I
acting
will.
life is tough.
I'll let you go. I know you're a busy man. Thanks so much, man. This has
Yeah, I
been
know
fun.
you are too. Thank you very, very much, Thomas. Have a good one.
Cheers.